Hello and welcome to Pronunciation and Meaning, where we help you master the pronunciation of British English. Have you ever struggled with pronouncing certain words, or wondered why English spelling and pronunciation can be so tricky? Well, you're not alone. Today, we'll explore something a bit different: the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA, an essential tool that can make pronunciation much easier. Have you ever come across a word and thought, how on earth do I pronounce this? Especially in British English, where spelling often doesn't match pronunciation, the IPA is your go-to guide. It unlocks the mysteries of pronunciation, helping you speak with greater accuracy and confidence, particularly when it comes to mastering the nuances of British English. So what exactly is the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA? It's a comprehensive system of symbols designed to represent the unique sounds of spoken language, bridging the gap between written text and pronunciation. Whether you're dealing with the quirks of British English or tackling a completely different language, the IPA provides a consistent way to understand and produce sounds accurately. Today, we'll dive into how the IPA is structured, why it's a vital tool for learners and linguists alike, and how you can start using it to refine your own speech. The IPA was established by the International Phonetic Association, founded in 1886 by a group of European linguists and phoneticians led by French linguist Paul Passy. Their goal was to create a standardized system for transcribing speech sounds across all languages, enabling consistent representation of spoken language worldwide. 2 years later, in 1888, the first official version of the IPA chart was published. This chart included symbols borrowed from the Roman alphabet, as well as new symbols to represent sounds not covered by existing alphabets. As the study of phonetics expanded, the IPA evolved with it, accommodating more languages and refining its symbols to adapt to modern linguistic needs, including the representation of sounds from less documented languages. A significant update in 1989 made the IPA more comprehensive for modern linguistics. Today, it's the most widely used system for phonetic transcription and plays a crucial role in language education, speech therapy, and linguistic studies. Now, let's take a closer look at how the IPA works. The IPA chart is divided into sections: consonants, vowels, diacritics, and suprasegmentals. Each symbol on this chart represents a unique sound. The consonants are categorized by where and how the sound is produced in the mouth. They can be divided into two main types: pulmonic and non-pulmonic consonants. Pulmonic consonants are sounds that are produced using air pushed out from the lungs, which is the most common mechanism in spoken languages. Here are some examples. K, as in cat, is a velar plosive, made by pressing the back of the tongue against the soft part of the roof of the mouth, the velum, and then releasing. The sound is produced by stopping the airflow and then letting it burst out. Sh, as in she, is a postal veolar fricative, produced by directing airflow over the tongue against the ridge behind your upper teeth. The sound is created by a narrow passage, causing friction as the air passes through. Non-pulmonic consonants are sounds that are not produced with the airflow from the lungs. Instead, they use other mechanisms, such as the movement of the glottis, or clicking sounds made by suction with the tongue. These are less common in English, but are important in other languages. Clicks are distinctive speech sounds used as regular consonants in languages like Zulu and Xhosa. They are produced by creating suction in the mouth and releasing it, functioning as integral parts of spoken words. Voiced implosives are produced by drawing air inward through the vocal cords, creating a typical sound found in languages like Sindhi and Swahili. And ejectives are produced by trapping air in the vocal tract and then releasing it forcefully, a feature in languages like Amharic. Now that we've covered consonants, let's move on to vowels. Vowels are classified by the position of the tongue, the openness of the mouth, and whether the lips are rounded or unrounded. Here are some examples. I, as in sit, is a high front unrounded vowel. The tongue is positioned high and towards the front of the mouth, and the lips are unrounded. The sound is produced with a relatively short duration and a slightly more relaxed tongue position compared to similar vowels. A, as in cat, is a low front unrounded vowel. The tongue is positioned low and towards the front of the mouth, and the lips remain unrounded. The sound is relatively open, with the mouth wide and the jaw lowered. As in foot, is a high back rounded vowel. The tongue is high and towards the back of the mouth, and the lips are rounded. Vowels can also be classified as long or short, which refers to their duration when spoken. In IPA transcriptions, long vowels are marked with a colon-like symbol, like see, goose, or father, while short vowels don't have this mark, like sit, foot, or cat. However, this distinction is only seen in transcriptions, not directly on the IPA chart itself. With vowels, there are two key types to be aware of: monophthongs and diphthongs. These terms describe whether a vowel sound stays constant or shifts as it's pronounced. Monophthongs are pure vowel sounds where the tongue stays in one position throughout the sound's duration. They are consistent and steady, like the vowel sound in cat or sit. In these sounds, there's no movement or glide from one sound to another. Diphthongs, on the other hand, are vowel sounds that involve a glide from one position to another within the same syllable. The tongue moves during the sound production, as in bite or go. This transition creates a dynamic sound as it shifts from one vowel quality to another. Let's move on to diacritics. These special marks modify how individual sounds are pronounced, adding details like nasalization, aspiration, or voicing to vowels or consonants. Here are a few examples. This mark indicates aspiration, where a burst of air follows the consonant, as in the P sound in pin. This diacritic shows that a consonant is dental, produced with the tongue touching the teeth. It's common in languages like Spanish. Representing nasalization. This symbol signifies that air escapes through the nose while producing a vowel, a feature commonly seen in French vowels. The final topic of this chapter is suprasegmentals. These refer to features that affect larger units of speech, such as syllables, words, or phrases, rather than individual sounds. Suprasegmentals include elements like stress, tone, and length, all of which can change meaning and add emphasis to spoken language. In English, shifting the stress from one syllable to another can completely change the meaning of a word. For instance, the noun record places stress on the first syllable, while the verb record stresses the second, altering its meaning. The duration of a vowel sound also plays a key role in distinguishing words. For example, in beat, the vowel is long, whereas in bit, it is short. Although the consonants remain the same, the difference in vowel length changes the meaning. English typically differentiates between short and long vowels, with finer distinctions like half-long or extra short vowels being less common and more relevant in other languages. In tonal languages like Mandarin, pitch variations on a single syllable can alter the meaning of a word. For instance, the syllable ma can mean mother, hemp, horse, or scold, depending entirely on the tone used. The IPA chart may seem complex at first, but with visual aids and practice, it becomes an incredibly useful tool for mastering pronunciation. While the IPA is really interesting on its own, you might be wondering why you should learn it. Many people think the IPA is only for linguists or is too complex to be practical, but in reality it's a useful tool for anyone learning languages. Once you understand the basic symbols, it becomes an intuitive guide for pronunciation. Before the IPA, spelling often didn't match how words were spoken, leading to confusion, particularly in languages like English, where irregular spelling is common. Words like night or cough are prime examples of how spelling can be misleading. The IPA solves this problem by assigning a unique symbol to each distinct sound or phoneme, making it much easier to learn and teach accurate speech. Learning the International Phonetic Alphabet can significantly improve how you speak English. It provides a precise representation of how words are pronounced, making it easier to learn new sounds and understand pronunciation guides in dictionaries. It's also a powerful tool for accent reduction. By comparing the IPA transcriptions of your native accent with received pronunciation, RP, the standard British accent, you can work on specific sounds to make your speech clearer and more accurate. This can be particularly useful for non-native speakers who wish to fine-tune their English pronunciation. The IPA is universal, meaning it can represent sounds from any dialect. For example, it can show how the vowel sounds in bath differ between British and American English, helping learners to adapt their pronunciation to different accents. So, for anyone studying linguistics, phonetics, or speech pathology, the IPA is indispensable. It's the foundation of understanding how languages work at the phonetic level. Reading IPA transcriptions might seem tricky at first, but with a little practice, it becomes second nature. Start by familiarising yourself with the IPA chart. For consonants, pay attention to where and how the sounds are produced, and whether they are voiced or voiceless. When it comes to vowels, learn the positioning of your tongue and whether the sound is rounded or unrounded. Diacritics and suprasegmentals modify sounds, so it's useful to start with simple ones like length or aspiration. A great way to improve is by listening and transcribing. Use audio clips of native speakers and try to transcribe words into IPA symbols. You can start with your native language and move on to more complex sounds in other languages. Practice saying the sounds yourself, paying attention to how your mouth moves. Recording yourself can be helpful to compare your pronunciation with native speakers. There are also plenty of resources that can help you learn the International Phonetic Alphabet. Apps, books, and websites provide interactive ways to explore the IPA chart and practice individual sounds. They can be particularly useful for visual and auditory learners, offering a more guided approach to mastering the symbols. I will also be posting quizzes in the YouTube community tab from time to time, so keep an eye out for those. The more you practice, the more intuitive it becomes. For those ready for a challenge, I've included an example of a text in IPA at the end of this video. See how many sounds and words you already recognise. And last but not least, I'm planning to create a video about the pronunciation of each IPA symbol used in British English, so stay tuned. Let's recap what we've covered today. We explored the history and purpose of the International Phonetic Alphabet, learned how the chart is structured, discussed the benefits of learning the IPA, and went over some practical tips for reading and practicing it. Whether you're learning a new language, refining your British English accent, or diving into the study of linguistics, the IPA is an invaluable tool. Start incorporating it into your language learning or pronunciation practice today, and see how it can transform your understanding of speech. With regular practice and the right resources, the phonetic alphabet will become much easier to read and use over time. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more British English pronunciation tips and tricks. And leave a comment below with your guess of what's written in the IPA text shown at the end of the video.